Welcome, sports fans, to another episode of Off the Rails Sports Saturday. I'm your host, Coach Miguel Medeiros, along with the voice of Panther basketball, Kyle Eaton. How do you like that? You like that?
It's okay.
Today we have our guest today is PYFL board members, Brian Henson and Josh Clan, correct?
Yes.
Let me get caught up. It's been 4 or 5 weeks since I have done this. It seems like it was graduation, it was vacation, it was Strawberry Festival. It was we just needed a break, work type of thing. But y'all had a show last week. You had PHS baseball team on, and hopefully, I saw the pictures and listened to the broadcast of y'all. Y'all had a good job. They did a good job talking about baseball, the season, and everything like that. Have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of camps, I'll put it that way. Got a lot of camps going on for all sports right now. I know it's strange because basketball right now is going through football, you got spring practice. I guess this is summer practice for basketball because right now basketball is going through camps. I know Thursday they had a scrimmage with somebody because Will Cottle was letting me know about that because he was having to miss lessons that I did with him because of basketball and everything. But you got band camps coming up. I think soccer camps coming up. PYFL. You got football camp coming up, correct?
Yes.
You got cheerleading camps coming. It's like everybody's got their summer camps coming along and everything. So anytime we get the information about that, we'll post it on our Facebook page. Anything else you got going on, Kyle?
Oh, I don't. It's I didn't realize waking up this morning trying to travel through the big city of Portland. Looks like we're going to turn into downtown Nashville for a few days.
Constant construction.
Took me about an hour to get from one end of town to the other there, but that's all right. It was needed.
There's all kinds of things that need to be fixed and everything. So, yeah, big things going on in Portland there with construction and all that. But let's get into today. Man, you want to do this? Because I'll just sit right here and listen.
It's much more fun listening to you do it.
Let's get into today's episode. Again, we have Brian Henson and Josh Clan today with the PYFL. You're both coaches and you're both board members, correct?
I'm a board member, not a coach.
Oh, not a coach. Okay.
Yes.
And you're both.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is for the people listening who can get a voice with the sound of what you sound like, with the name to a voice. How about that? And then on video, we'll sit there and they can see you and everything. So introduce yourself and then your title, and then we'll do the same thing with you. So.
All right, I'm Brian Henson. I'm the PYFL Football Commissioner this year.
Overall commissioner of everything, or a certain age group, or
overall football
Okay,
commissioner.
okay.
I'm over the football side of it. We also have like cheer commissioners, and Josh would be board member. So.
Okay.
I thought you was going to mention that he was a cheer commissioner.
Yeah.
That's what he was going with it.
You a cheer coach?
No, not that flexible.
And so, go ahead and introduce yourself, Josh.
My name is Josh Clan. I am the coach for the 7U, the Littles for PYFL, the co-commissioner, and athletic director.
So how long have you all been involved? Start with you. When I ask a question, we'll start with you, and we'll move that way and everything. But how long have you been involved with PYFL?
I've been involved about 8 years now, continuously.
Yeah.
My oldest son got in. This will be his 8th year.
Wow.
And we've just been a part of it. We love it. I mean, my youngest son, he started 2 years ago, so we've still got another 6 years.
Okay, as I was getting ready to ask, do you see yourself staying in it after? But the question can be, do you see yourself staying in it after your kids are out of it? Because that's where you see the change come with any type of youth organization. Is once kids are gone with it, you hardly ever see anybody stay with it because they're gone with their kids, and I understand that, But with you, you're
So-
talking 14 years if you're counting the 6, you know. So
that's still a far ways away, so I can't be 100% honest there. But I would definitely be around still to make sure everything was operating
Yeah.
smooth and kind of help everybody out, help new coaches, new
Yeah.
board members, help everybody out if I was needed there. Hopefully, the program 6 years from now keeps growing and it's on the right way to success. So, yeah, if I'm needed at that point in time, yeah, I would stick around to help out and make
maybe
sure
not hold an
everything's
actual
good.
position, but
Yeah.
an advisor role, maybe.
Yeah, so my family's so big too. We got so many nieces and nephews. I was watching PYFL before, probably 14 years ago.
I gotcha.
got nephews. I got nephews coming in after my kids come out. So it'll be something we'll always be involved a little bit. But I may step out of board seats at that time.
Right.
Get a little bit more time for the family. Yeah.
And what about you? How long have you been involved, and how did you get involved?
I've been in, this will be my second year with PYFL. I was assistant coach for the 7U last year. We moved up here 2 years ago, so we were living in Nashville, found a place in Portland, fell in love with the city, the small town vibes. I'm from a small town, so it just felt like home to me. I got my son involved in football. You know, I love it, and I just want to see the program to grow. You know, continue to grow and be successful to where, like we talked about earlier, you know, Friday Night Lights, everyone's out here, you know.
So both of y'all got involved because your sons or your children got involved in everything. It's how you got involved. What do you like about the league, and what it's doing for you? First of all, what do you like about the league? What can, you know, if you're out here talking about PYFL and you're telling somebody who doesn't know about it, you know, what are you bragging about it? What is the main topics that you're saying, hey, you really need to come join because of this, in your opinion?
Well, for me, I feel that all young kids need to start introducing themselves to sports at some level. I feel like PYFL is the best football program for the city of Portland. The kids mean a lot to the program. They got a good cheer set up too. Not knocking it. Some kids like baseball, some kids like basketball. But if you're going to come to football, PYFL is where it's at in Portland. It's been around forever. It's just it has always been a really good program. It's needed some help here and there, concession stand, stuff like that. Just different things it's needed help with. But it's all working out and together, and it just gets better and better every year. So gets the kids out, gets the kids introduced with other kids. I mean, it makes the kids learn how to communicate with other kids outside of school. So at the end of the day, it's more than just football. Football is what we're there for. That's the biggest part. But also being a part of it, being able to coach and mentor these kids. After 8 years, I've got kids in high school that come up to me and, hey, what's up, Coach Brian? So it's the joy of it.
That's a good point.
And what about you? What?
I agree with everything that he said. I mean, it's all about mentoring these kids, and we have the staff that we have. I feel like the coaches that we have we're trying to win football games, obviously, but our number one goal is to make these boys into better men, you know,
Right.
and give them the good morals and discipline. And listen, I couldn't tell you how many parents have come up and be like, he needs this, my boy needs that, you know. And at the end of the day, we're always gonna, you know, sure, we'll run laps and do bear crawls. At the end of the day, at the end of practice, we're gonna tell how proud we are of them for doing it. You know, we're never gonna kick them down. So I think that people involved really make a difference about this program. We care about these boys. I mean, and you know, cheer, I'm sure too. But just like Brian said, you know, I coach basketball too, and you know, they'll come up to me, Coach Josh, because there's a lot of football kids. But you know, it's just a good program overall, and good people involved in it.
What would you tell someone that wants to volunteer about the time and the effort that they need to put in, you know, and be honest with them, you know, hey, you need to come volunteer, you sound like, you know, you do help this and that. But if someone wanted to kind of help and everything, and they go, hey, I got a little bit of time, you know, how much time do y'all put in to the program and coaching? And, you know, is it something that you need to tell someone who's looking to get involved? Hey, it's fun. It's a great thing to do. And like you said, that's something that I cherish, is I can go out to the store and there's a kid that I coached. Now it's 12 years ago, and it's, hey, coach,
Right.
here's my son. Hey, this is Coach A. He coached me, you know, and he starts telling stories there. It's just, you're sitting going, that's what it's about right there, you know. But you have someone new coming in going, hey, I want to coach. You know, do you ever sit there and go, hey, oh, that's fine. We'll look into your background and everything. We'll do what we're supposed to do. But understand, you know, it's going to take, it's not just 2 hours of practice and it's an hour and a half at the Saturdays on games and everything. And after that, that's it and everything, you know. How much time do y'all spend, you know, just coaching, not as a board, because I know board members, they do a ton more, but just as coaching, what do you think y'all spend with that?
Yeah, it's a lot of time, a lot of invested time. It can be, depending on how competitive your team and all your coaches get together. We really recommend for like help. People, you was talking about people coming to coach, and we want people to do that. We really recommend it. And the big thing is you are going to spend, I would say, at least 4 to 10 hours, and that's on the low side, just talking about the football after hours, like in your own time, just coming up with stuff. The beauty about it is when you get a good coaching staff, they can run things through each other's brains and rack problems and solutions, and then you can come up with the solutions to figure that out. So that'll be the majority of the talk that I've experienced from coaching after hours, like on your own time.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. It does take time. I mean, last year, you know, I was really dedicated. You know, it'd probably take, you know, practice for 2 hours, but I'd probably get there an hour early just to set up drills and do whatever. Grab the ice for the boys, put water in, you know, fill that out. But I'd probably say it's half work, half football for me, because I'm always shooting off ideas or you know, doing something, talking about it. But the commitment. Now, for an assistant role, you know, I'm not, you know, I know people have different job schedules and stuff like that. But, you know, if you sign up to volunteer, you know, you need some sort of commitment, and not, you know, your whole life is dedicated to it. But we need you for those 2 hours, for those game days. And then, like you said, bouncing ideas off each other. The head coach doesn't have to say, no, we're doing this. You know, I want everybody to come together and say, hey, this is what we should do. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
It's the after hours stuff that people don't count as things you're putting in because you're at home. But I can tell you, like, you know, talking before we went on air, me and Coach Lambreth at the high school, we would talk daily, and then after practice, I go home, he go home, and then for the next 3 hours, we're constantly texting. I didn't like this in practice. What did you think about this? I like this. You know, we like this. So tomorrow, let's do this. And then I'd put a defensive text out to the coaches. Hey, tomorrow you're going to have 25 minutes of this and 15 minutes of this. Decide what you want to do and let me know what it is. And the only reason I did that was because I wanted a plan already in place. I didn't want to get to practice. You go, hey, you got 25 minutes. Okay, let me figure out what we're going to do. And she'd already have it, you know, and that takes part of when you're at home and hey, you're eating and you get done eating, now you're sitting there and a lot of your time is this here, you know. So I definitely understand, you know, the time that it takes if you really wanted to be successful. In your eyes, since you all have been part of the organization, how has the program grown? You know, you all are talking about the new press box and concession stand that you're getting, that they're building now. I remember when I was involved with PYFL in 2001 through 2007, we actually played, the game field was actually that very first field as you come into the park right there on the left. That was the game field right there. And concessions was a box truck and some somebody's grilling type of thing. You know, that was it. Practice was actually to the right down that big grass area from where the amphitheater is now, and off the side of the playground up there on the hill. So that was, and each age group had a section of field that they had. That's where we practiced. Game field was the first field on the left. But then after I left and went to the middle school and high school, it got moved to where you're all at now. Or actually got moved down and then over. Then y'all put a fence around it. And so to see things change and how it's, you know, in my eyes since 2001 is big. But with y'all being involved for the last couple of years, and for you 6, 7, 8 years there, you know, how's it grown? And, you know, are you proud of what you've seen so far? Or in what things in your eyes would you like to see coming down the pipe?
So overall, I mean, the whole city's grown. It feels like when you drive in the park from 2001, there's a big difference. I mean, it feels like a whole different place. The football program, I mean, it grows every year. You get new kids and more kids. I don't see it being too long before we have to split and go to multiple teams for each age group, because I mean, the kids just come in. I guess the city is growing, so we're getting more people. And overall with the park, I mean, we've got 2 big practice fields and we've got 1 big game field. We've made a bunch of, over the years, there's been a bunch of different things we've done. They've extended the fence, made the fields longer. This year coming up, we're getting ready to add a lot more. The big thing is having people involved. The growth overall is coming up. Like we're definitely growing and putting in new things every year. And the kids we're getting more kids every year. We could use a little more help each year from like people who want to coach, people who want a board seat or want to be involved in some way. Some people just don't talk up too much in that way, but other than that, the growth is big. We've had some big growth over the years.
So you talk about that. We usually talk about splitting. So right now, how many age groups do you have right now? Is it 3?
Yeah, we have 3 age groups, what we call little, mids, and bigs. 7U, 9U, and 11U.
Okay. And right now, Portland only has 1 team for each group now. Is it just
Yes.
1?
Yes.
But you're talking about possibly having to split
Yeah.
and have like 2 Portland teams.
Just like
Okay,
White House.
so is PYFL? I'm sure it's under a bigger umbrella, right? Because you're playing other teams in other cities.
So you're like under Middle
Tri-Star.
Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
I think when we did it was Middle Tennessee Junior Football, whatever.
So what? 7 teams probably counting Portland, 6 or 7. That's with that. I'm assuming they're all local.
Talking about White House and the other teams that you play. Who's all in the league?
The schedules come out next week. We had Greenbrier join this year.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we have probably around 8 or 9, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 9.
total teams
Yeah, we've got
were okay. Gotcha.
including us. I think.
Gotcha.
Joe Burns, Cheatham County, White House, Springfield, Greenbrier, East Robertson. There's quite a few.
About the same teams that was back in 2001.
Yeah,
And I can say in 2007 we had enough kids that wanted to play that we split, and we had a purple team and a white team on all, and it was good for, I want to say, back then it was 7/8s. 6s could play with 7/8s at everything, but it's not, the way y'all have got it now, where you let 5 and 6 year olds play now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, letting them come in and have kind of a junior varsity schedule per se. The last time I checked into it and everything, I thought that was good, because a lot of 6-year-olds was not going to play with 7, 8-year-olds unless they was special at that time. And then you had 9 and 10s and then 11, 12s, and the big argument there was you lost your 12-year-olds to middle school, because you had a choice: do I play as a 12-year-old in the youth, or I play as a 7th grader
Mhm.
for middle school, and that was the fight back in 2001, 2007. But we had a group of kids come in that was so big when they were 9-10s, we had to split, and it hurt the 7-8s and the 11-12s because you have a team that you might have had 18 kids, once you split. But like the 9-10, where that big group of kids were, you had 25 kids per team. And then once that, and then it sat there and got to a point where we went back to just one team for each age group and everything. But I've been on both ends of the spectrum with being in the youth, being at the middle school, going, we want those 12-year-olds with the middle school, everything. And you're all going, well, we want the 12-year-olds with us, I wish there could be a happy medium to where the age groups could change to where that 12-year-old didn't have to make that choice going, you want to, because that's a hard choice for a 12-year-old to make and for a parent to sit there and make. Well, because I sound bad when I say this, but you go, well, we can go back to the youth and we can win a championship, or we can sit there and develop him to where he can sit there and develop more at the middle school, or take the next step up. I'm not saying that coaches doesn't know how to coach from the youth to middle school. It's no different than an 8th grader going from middle school to high school, or from a high school kid going from high school to college. You can be taught all you can be taught, and at the next level, you're going to learn. The next level, you're going to learn a whole lot more. And so, to me, that's kind of where the trouble with youth, with football at least, because I'm not involved with baseball and all that stuff, so I don't know how that goes with the grades and the systems and everything. But that's what we had enough kids to where we had enough. You're good. We had enough kids at that time we could split.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it started affecting the numbers and everything. And but I agree with you. I see it growing. That's like the talk at the high school is we're 5A. I'd say in 10 years we're going to be 6A because the way that growth is everybody who's living in Nashville decided, I don't want to live in Nashville, but I want to live close enough. So I went south. So they went to Brentwood and Franklin. Mm-hmm. Then once that happened and filled all up, they was like, I don't want to drive no more than 30 minutes. Well, I don't want to go west, so they went east and they went to Mount Juliet, and that's where that exploded.
Lebanon, yeah.
And Lebanon and all that. They still don't want to go west. From my understanding is county taxes and stuff that they would have to deal with. So nobody wants to build toward Dixon. So now it's coming to us. White House is going to see the splurge before we do, but we're going to see it because especially with them winding 65, and you got all the farmland out here on the west side of town, that you start building that up, put houses there. I got a house, I can jump on the interstate, and I'm in Nashville within 30, 40 minutes, whatever, or into Bowling Green, and you're going to have the influx of kids coming in and new people coming in. Portland's going to explode to the point of we'll have enough kids at the high school that we'll have to expand to 6A, and that's where we're going to be from that point on. So you're right about the expansion coming in, kids coming in. You got more kids coming in, and that's a tough thought process of do we expand to 2 teams per age group and everything, like White House did. But
we were close. I mean, I had 30 kids initially sign up, which is a lot because I have 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and then if they're after July 1st, their birthday could be July 2nd and turn 8, they're still on 7U technically. So I have some 5-year-olds and some 8-year-olds at the end of the season, So that's a big gap. So 30 of those kids, and we capped it at 30 because we'd have to split. But from what I understand, we'd all have to split mids, bigs, littles, because
so you can't just do
schedules.
one age group. You have to do
because the schedules, like we could schedule at the same time.
Yeah.
But we're getting there, and the growth is. I mean, he knows way more about it than me because I'm a transplant here, but I love it. From last year to this year, I mean, just the excitement I feel a little bit more of than last year. People are a little bit more fired up about PYFL and ready to get the season started. I got parents, reaching out to me ready to do some practicing and hey, when can we go after it?
In early June.
Yeah.
So that is a good.
We did a couple conditioning sessions with the boys and just so I can meet them and hang out. We did we did some running or whatever, but it wasn't a practice. We kind of just hung out so I could get to know them.
Yeah.
But we're fired up. We're ready to go.
Wow.
The big changes are I can feel it, from last year to this year, and it's just going to keep getting better and better in my opinion. I think we're going to be
What is something that you're proud of as a board member that since you've been involved that you have seen happen? Now I'll put you on the spot because you got to come up with something.
I could just start with the latest. Like this year, we've made major improvements. Of course, I know we're probably going to talk about it, so I'll go ahead and bring it up. But the concession stand, of course, the scoreboards, we're getting in new ones. Talking about pouring concrete walkway for the handicap. There's really not too much to say about the football side of it because every year is impressive and entertaining. Like just loving football and these kids all together. Every year a new group comes and it's always fun. On the board side, we've done a lot this year to make a big difference. With the concession stand, it'll be finished here soon, and it'll have a new press box.
So talk about that a little bit. How did that get started? Hey, we're going to redo this whole press box. We're going to get rid of this shed. We're going to get something. How did that get started? Who spearheaded that, and who kind of is involved in that?
It's been in the talks for years and years. It's been talked about. It was one of the things we just had to come up with the good game plan. Eventually, we got the board members in the right spots, and we were able to get a group to where we could actually get it in process this year. So that's where we got it in process this year, and we've had plenty of sponsors. Jetton Property Group out here, he's one of the biggest people as far as sponsoring and putting everything. He's done a lot of work out there. We've got people donating like the labor and the building, windows, stuff like that. It's just a big group effort, and it makes the community, it makes you happy on the board seat because you see that the community wants to come together and put this together. And in my idea, like I know we sit here and talk about high school, middle school, PYFL, the youth league, but when you come to Portland, we want it all to be one football organization, kind of like you would call Portland football.
Yeah.
So if you talk about Portland football, you can be talking about middle school, you can be talking about high school, you can be talking about the Little League, because
it's all interconnected almost.
Yeah, we're all in the same city, and our goals with PYFL is to get the kids to the middle school level.
Mm-hmm.
The middle school, get the kids to the high school level.
That's right.
The high school, get the kids to the college level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a growth from what I can see, and it all seems like it's coming together. It's working out. We got big things going on.
I will sit there and say that being involved in all three levels throughout the last 25 years, I've seen where there's been disconnects before. I've seen where, people have talked about, hey, let's get these guys involved and we'll do this, nothing really happens. I'm really happy to see that there is a youth camp that Coach Dupree in the high school is putting on next week. I believe you can walk up and sign up for it if you haven't heard about it. Youth football camp, I think sign up is
June 13th. You can walk in.
Time? 7:30?
7, sorry. Registration is from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
8 a.m., sorry.
7 to 8 is registration, so you can walk up during that time and pay your money and sign up if you haven't signed up before. And then I believe you all they get a shirt and everything, and then they'll be coached. They'll be coached by high school coaches, middle school coaches. Are y'all involved with coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, the PYFL coaches will be there, and then some of the high school players will be helping with the drills also. And I could go ahead and sit there and say that Kyle and Coach Thayer will be there broadcasting live, doing the Saturday show from the camp. I'll be one of the instructors at the camp. So I'm excited to see that because we haven't had a youth camp for 25 years that I've been involved. We have not done a camp. I can tell you that the camp that y'all have during the summer, that was brought up in 2005 or 6 and I'm the one that came up with that idea to have a summer camp.
Oh, nice.
And back then, I had Coach Beaver came out, the high school coach, talked to the kids one night. I'm friends with Brent Alexander, who played in the NFL for 12 years. He would come in and he would talk. Frank Omiel, who played in the NFL, his wife is from Portland. He come in one day to talk to the kids, you know. And so you try to bring in speakers at the end of the day of the camp. And back then you had coaches wanted to make it full pads and wanted to be, and I'm like, this is not what this is supposed to be for. It's supposed to just for them to come out here,
A little bit of fun.
have fun,
Yeah.
but then you can kind of see the skill levels that these kids might have and everything. And go, oh man, I didn't know this kid was playing, but you know, and so that's kind of, and then kind of get them ready to be out in the sun, working in the heat, and go, you got a week off, and then kind of we start into something camp wise and everything, and that's kind of what that whole purpose was for. But to see that it has stayed this whole time is nice. To see that the high school now is getting involved and doing that is to me, you know, student coach Dupree called me, goes, hey, you want to help with the youth camp? Dang right, I'm there.
Right.
You know, no matter what day it is. I didn't even check to see if we had guests. I was like, I'm there. You know, I didn't tell them until this past week that I won't be a host.
That's what's important. I mean, like Brian said, you know, be Portland, one Portland. You know,
Yeah.
the string needs to be connected between us, you know, PYFL and the high school kids. And I've told a lot of people this, but when I was young playing football, I looked up to those high school kids. I knew their names. You know, Alex Davis played for Indiana State. Like all these guys, like I want to be like him. You know,
Yeah.
and our boys and kids need to see, you know, the next level. And you know, they come to our games. We would go to their games. You know, every single time, and just we're all one. You know, like we're all a group. We all know each other. The high school kids can give the little ones noogies or whatever, you know, and joke around and know their names. I'm excited for that now. I think we're Coach Dupree. He's wanting to really get that going. Create a culture where we're not separate. We're all family. Culture's huge, and I think we're going there.
The other thing I'd like to see, you got.
I was saying that's the next exciting.
I don't mean to cut you off, man. You're so quiet at work. I'm not used to you talking. The other thing I want to see, and I brought this up earlier, talking to I get that guy's name now, Commissioner. The one
Eric?
That, Eric. Thank you. I knew the last name. And on the phone, I had Tiffany Johnson. I was like, I ain't calling her Tiffany. but talking to Eric and everything, I really want Coach Dupree to get with y'all. There is a coaching clinic and coaching library that the high school coaches do. It's called Glazier. Have y'all heard of Glazier? So what Glazier is they have 3 months of coaching clinics around the United States. And they have one in Nashville every year, normally toward the end of February. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They bring in, so last year, normally the high school will pay like $900 for a year's subscription. What that gives you is, it gave us access to any clinic we want to go to. It's free. We didn't pay for our travel and hotel room. It gives us over 5,000 videos online that these coaches will do and put them online for us to learn from. But it also sits there, and under that one cost, your feeder programs are eligible too. So this year, when and how the transition from Coach Hicks to Coach Dupree happened, and there is no deadline. We can next week, if Coach Dupree wanted to sit there and pay the subscription, he could and everything. But it allows anybody in our feeder program, so it'd be high school coaches, middle school coaches, youth coaches. Y'all would sign up, give them the name, you would have access. So in February, but last year I sat in Nashville and listened to the defense coordinator from Tennessee Tech. I listened to the D-line coach from Auburn, the linebackers coach from University of Tennessee, high school coach from Michigan who's won 5 or 6 state championships. Coach Nix from Alcoa did it 2 years ago, came in, and when you get to these clinics and they talk, they're willing to sit and answer anything. They'll give you their phone number and say, if you have any questions, call me and let me know. And that's the cool thing about it. We had a trip planned to go up to Alcoa and watch their spring practice. And they was going to sit down with us, take us into a room, shoot film, and just talk football and stuff, how they run practice and everything. All that would be accessible for y'all. if once it gets all going again, if they would want to sit there and do that. And I think, to me, that's what I think that lacks. That's where we lack. It's not only about the kids, it's about the coaching too. Because I can sit there and go, well, these kids learn this in youth, and then in middle school you have to define that drill a little bit better now, and then in high school you have to define that drill a little bit better now. But you would understand, it's kind of like with tackling. A lot of people, you get a guy who coached, and this ain't youth, I'm talking middle school wise. You get a guy to come in and go, okay, guys, you're going to tackle. You're going to make sure you put your head, right in his chest right here, put your nose here, and that's not how they teach tackling. You don't ever sit there and you butt up onto the chest anymore. You put it in their armpit so your head don't even get in the way of contact. So, there's so much going on with concussion and CTE and all that stuff. But that's the stuff that a lot of people, when you grab a dad, when you grab a dad from the stands going, hey, you want to coach and everything. 32 years ago when I played, we ran this type of offense. We was, and that's just where it's not about what you did back then, it's what you can teach the kids now. But that's something, that y'all saying is put everybody together, is we can put all the coaches in that system under one thing. And that's what I did. And for the last 20 years, I've lived on Glacier and just watch video after video. You can go by position. You can go by the system. You want to put a 3-3-5 in. There's going to be a video in there on how someone installed the 3-3-5 defense. You can do the youth, you can do the high school, but it's just all kinds of stuff you can look at and pick little things out. And but I think that's also something you grow the coaches along with the kids, like you're saying. But
we did have that coaches clinic about a month or a half ago. Dupree was there, Elaine. It was pretty good. Got a lot of good information. But what you're talking about, that would be pretty cool. And I think we should all get together, as coaches, and kind of just, whether we just have dinner somewhere and get together at someone's house or barbecue and just get to know each other. And
we can bring a grill out to the coach's office at the high school, and you got enough boards and a big screen right there. We can X and O stuff up all day long there.
That would be fun.
Let's get back on topic here. What challenges y'all afraid of 2 hours? I told you, let me talk. What challenges do you see youth football face in today's society? Not so much PYFL, just kind of youth football in general. Do you see that we're losing kids due to contact? Because everybody's trying to now play flag football because of the injuries or this or that?
I know a lot of kids. Actually, one of the guys I work with, he still coaches his son flag football at 12 years old. He's never played pads just because of the scared of contact. I coached another kid in basketball, probably one of the best athletes I've seen at his age. He dropped like 40 points on us in a 7U game. And I was on his parents like, please play football, and they wouldn't do it just because of the contact. Yeah. You're always going to have kids like that, kids that want to hit, aren't scared of contact, and you're going to have the parents that are saying, hey, you're going to play it anyways, but it does play a bigger issue since the whole CTE thing popped up. Parents are concerned, and they have a right to be concerned.
Yes.
But now, if you have the right coaches, to keep you safe, there's a lot of safety measures in place to where, the guardian cap, the helmets are better now. Yeah. It's not as common to get a concussion or have CTE. There's a lot of things that have changed since back in the day, so I don't know, but it has changed the signups.
Well, going down to another road, fans, spectators. Of course, y'all travel to other cities around here. Do you see that being a problem with some of the parents?
Always. Maybe
getting a little bit too involved or too emotional, I guess you'd say, especially in that age group.
Yeah, there's some that'll come out and say something. It's very not common at all. I mean, maybe one time last year we had a parent come out because he was a littler kid and he got tackled. But it'll happen. Some parents will be concerned. Some won't. There's two sides of the spectrum. You got parents that are like, yeah, go after it, and want to see a hard hit. Yeah. But also their parents at the end of the day, and that's their kid out there that's getting laid out possibly. So they don't like to see that either.
Do you ever have your play call questioned for your 7U offensive schemes?
Yeah, offense and defense. But it can't. it's never going to be perfect. It's like not everyone's going to love every single coach. Not all the parents are going to love you.
Yeah.
You got to do what's best for the kids. And make the best decision for everyone. It's not just about one kid. It's about the whole team. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's just a balancing act.
I had a question in here. It's down. So let me ask you this. I know when parents sign up, and we're going to get into some tough questions here. When parents sign their kids up, they want their kids to play. But there's also a safety aspect in the part of it also. How do you tell a parent that, first of all, what's y'all's opinion on everybody's going to play? I think in the youth, everybody deserves to play. I understand that. But the playing time and also who they're going against, you have to look at the safety aspect. And this is just my opinion, the safety aspect of the kid. So you've got a small kid. Hey, he's 7 years old, but he's just, right now, he's small body type. And you can put him in a position to where maybe as a receiver or a safety or a DB type of things where he's not into the contact part of it. But, the skill level is so much different. How do you explain to a parent right now that the skill level is just not there, that kid just, he can't be a starter, or he doesn't need to be a lot of playing time? Because then you're going to get into, I shouldn't have to pay full price then, or type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not so much as playing time. Like y'all said, it's the camaraderie with the other kids, being out there with the other kids, going through the school, going down the hallway and having somebody on your team sit there and go, hey, there's little Joe, hey, Joe, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's, to me, is what that is about. But how do y'all, I don't want to sit there and call it, how do y'all explain to parents that it's not going to be, 100% even?
So we got a 4-play rule. If the kid is there at practice all week and our coaches position the kids that in that case so that they won't get hurt, that's one of their biggest jobs.
Okay.
To take care of their kids first. Every kid out there is a 4-play minimum at least. They're going to be on the field 4 plays at least. That being said, sometimes we do run into a little bit of that, or like where the kid doesn't want to go out, and we do have to tell the parent, hey, look, we've had two coaches address this kid, and we're trying to get him out there for the 4 plays, but he doesn't want to go. Him deep down inside, he knows that there's a potential chance of him, if he don't do his job how he's coached, then, and if he's at that level of fear, then we don't force kids to go out there. That's just, we'll just tell the parents, hey, look, we can't force the kid to go out there.
Right.
Sometimes the parents will be like, well, yeah, make them go out there. That's not how we're going to coach. We're going to go safety first. Our obligation is to treat them like every kid on our team is our own kid.
Right.
And make sure that they're safe at the end of the day. We want to see them progress. Even if they start off, they don't hit the field at all. But our goal by the end of that season is to where they're getting them, instead of 4 plays, they're getting 6 plays, and now they're confident to the level where they want to go out. So that the next year, they're a little bit better. The next year, they're a little bit better. Because without the fundamentals and keeping them safe with the good fundamentals, we're not doing no good for the middle school, the next level. So we've got to progress in that level. Sometimes it is slow. Sometimes we have kids that don't want to go out, or the parents are like, oh, they need more playing time. And more than likely in that situation, the kids know that they're not ready.
Right.
And all it takes is one bad experience for a kid in football to be like, I'm done, no more. All it takes is one big kid laying out another kid, and that experience is gone. And he's like, I'm not touching football again. I don't want to play again. So kids like that, you gotta ease them into the game and make them really kind of fall in love with it and have fun with it first before.
And so I've seen that happen to where, like you said, it's one play, and it was a bad play for the kid, and then he just kind of shuns away from it from there on out. and I've also seen a kid who was at that point. I was kind of on the edge right there, and all of a sudden it's a good play. They make a tackle, they make a touchdown, or something happens, and it's on the positive side of it, and all of a sudden it's
100%,
they're
yeah.
off and running. You know,
Well, that's the good thing with this league that we're in now too. I mean, when we do face teams where they're very dominant in their team, because you run into that sometimes.
Yep.
The teams are just like, man, we
Really?
can't compete. Like
they're stacked.
they're stacked.
You go ahead and call it.
Yeah. And most of the time in those scenarios in the league we're in now, what they'll do is they'll run on second string for us, like towards the end of the game or something, so we
Yeah.
can get all the kids in
Right.
and get them good learning experience.
Right.
And at that point, it almost becomes like a practice, more or less. The game doesn't count, so it's good. It's a nice league we're in too.
And with that, also, what I also like is seeing the referees be involved. They're not sitting there going, and you can have, no matter what level you're at, even in the pros, you could call holding every play.
Yeah.
Okay, but to sit and come and watch the youth. To me, the last time I went to a youth game, Coach Combs his kids were involved. I came out to watch his kids play and everything, and I just sat at the end of the fence and I was just watching. It was fun watching the kids get out there and play, and I was like, man, this is what pure football is. Just watching them do stuff. And what ruined it was the parents wanted to be so critical, about, oh, come on, ref, that was holding. Oh, coach, oh, they're tackling the guy, this and that. Man, just let them play, depending on what level you're at. Don't get to that point until you at least get to middle school, maybe high school level, okay? But at the at the youth level, I love that the referees will sit there and, quarterback's not under center, he'll take the kid and move him under center or something like that, or help them with their chin straps and stuff like that. And I mean, even at the middle school during spring practice, I was helping Coach Lane, and I don't know how many times I've had kids come up and say, "Hey, Coach, can you sit there and help me?" And I was so used of having at the high school, I was so used to having kids having the zips, on their that you didn't snap no more, and to have kids at the middle school sit there and have a snap, I'm like, well, what is this? You should just have to zip, and tighten it up and go. But to watch the referees sit there and do that out there and everything, I think they should be committed too. And I think they have a hard time. You've seen the videos out there on the internet where parents get, or beating up the referees or the coaches and everything. That's where I just sit there and shake my head and just kind of go, what have we gotten into? Where are we at? If you want to be on a travel team and that's the competition you want, then that's fine. Then do that and get away. Don't go and do that and come play in a youth league, type of thing and try to be the same thing. But how do y'all measure success with it being beyond just wins and losses?
As kids grow, as kids, as people, I mean, that's what I care about. Like I said earlier, I want to win football games, obviously, but that's the most rewarding part of being a coach, is seeing where they started and seeing where they're at the end of the season. Because we had kids that were scared to hit, couldn't find angles, didn't know what offense and defense were, and then into the season he's starting, and he's not scared to hit, he's fired up about it. It's just the growth, and seeing him grow, getting to know him, playing after practice, we'll try to catch me and tackle me, like just the small thing. It's rewarding to know that these boys, they trust you enough with their safety, the parents trust you enough for their safety, they like you, they want to talk to you, they want to be around you. That's what I love.
Yeah, it's one of the things where measuring success is kind of easy for me. I mean, it's hard to go through town without running into kids from high school, middle school. And,
Yeah.
Hey, or
And they don't go up to you and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, remember when we went 3 and 4?" They don't talk about that. They're talking about the other aspect of it.
And what's crazy is, me and my wife will be going up to the Strawberry Festival. And she'll be like, "Why are all these high school kids talking to Brian? He's just now leaving elementary school, going to middle school." And I'm like, "Hey, all of them played on the same field as him, and they all practiced together just 4-6 years ago. So it's kind of like it feels good because at at the end of the day, you think about it, when you get all these kids that can communicate, especially like middle school, with elementary school, with middle school, it brings the community together at such a bigger level to where, and this is one of my biggest reasons why I love all the sports, all the Little League sports, and I think that every kid should be in some type of Little League sport. At the end of the day, it's going to make the school safer, it's going to make the community bond, it's going to make everything come together, because these kids already have formed bonds outside of school. They know how to talk to each other, they know how to communicate. At that point, that's where I really measure success. I mean,
I think that's a good place to stop right there. We're going to take a small break, let everybody kind of catch their breath and everything. When we come back, we'll have more questions to ask Brian and Josh here, and talk more youth football and what's kind of coming up on their schedule, and what the summer's going to look like, what the fall's going to look like to them, and just kind of get their opinions on some other topics and everything with youth sports and everything. But you're listening to Off the Rails Sports Saturday here on PSN Network. Welcome back, Panther fans, to episode 19 of Off the Rails Sports Saturday. I'm your host, Coach Almendaris, along with Kyle Eaton here. We're here today with PYFL coaches and board members Brian Henson and Josh Clan. Guys, before we took the break, we kind of talking about safety of the kids, what the kids get out of it from playing the youth sports and everything. What makes your league, what makes PYFL different from other leagues that you've seen, in your opinion?
We're very, very proud and strong Panther genes. This is a football town, so everybody, even the parents and everybody, big Portland football. We push it to the point. It's just a really good community. The parents, the board, everybody works together really, really nice. We don't have many problems at all. I know we talked about it a little bit before about parents and refs and stuff like that. That always happens in the it always happens.
Yep.
So we're very strong on, hey, if we have to have a parent meeting or a board meeting or a coaches meeting, we'll have it. We'll have it the day after practice if we need to address something. I feel like everybody, even the parents, take a bunch of pride and respect into the league that is important.
What, in your opinion, what life lessons does youth sports teach young athletes?
It's a little toughness, not to give up, try hard, life lessons. I mean, it gives you discipline, respect too, I would say. It teaches them to grow and socially, morally, and be better as a person, because coaches aren't going to take bullying out there on the football field. Everyone's going to get along. We're a team at the end of the day. So, friendship, team, because, the boys, sure, they'll get fired up and they'll want to hit each other, like tackle each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, as we ever practice, hey, we're still a team, and congratulate everybody. Tell everybody they did a good job today. So they're going to be, friends. Everyone has their differences, but I think a lot of it is just building the structure for them to grow up to be responsible men and adults.
Describe how you do it individually. How do you build competence and character in a youth athlete?
We normally start like, for instance, it's a growing process. So even from the first day, we're just going over names and stuff, and we match them and even them up to where they feel like they've got a chance every time. We're never going to just completely dominate a kid. So, and at some times you will have to get on to kids, adjust them, and hey, look, we're doing this wrong. We got to fix this. But it's the way you lift them up after you're correcting something. You still have to be able to lift them up. like, hey, look, this part was good. We just need to work on this part. But we're going to get it together. We're going to get it together. And at the end, we're going to get it together, tells them that he's not alone. Me and him both are going to fix that problem. So it's all in the way you communicate with kids. I've had kids that starting players, starting quarterbacks come off the field. I don't know if I want to do this. We go over and talk. Next thing you know, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I feel good. It's just it becomes a communication thing with a kid that grows for life. It grows connection for life. So
100%. I mean, my first goal is get the kids to trust me. Because they don't trust me, how are they going to trust me to tell them, hey, lower your shoulder here. You got to do this. So if they don't trust me, to say, hey, I think you're comfortable doing it this way, but let me tell you the right way to do it. If they don't trust me enough to do it the right way or how it's supposed to be done, then it's not going to happen. So it starts all off with that, with trusting the coach, believing that we're going to take care of them, keep them safe, and then, like Brian said, once they get after it, and start to learn and do better, they get excited about it.
How do you help players build? What do you want every player to gain from the experience of playing youth football?
Respect, confidence, pride. Like, I want them to be happy that they're out there first and foremost. And over time, they're going to learn how to communicate with all the other kids. They're going to learn how to communicate with the coaches out there. Learn a little bit more respect. Like, we see so much change in kids when they start early. They start at a young level. By the time they hit 11, and most coaches do not request this, but by the time they're 11, yes sir, it's all manners, and they respect, they trust you. It's a great thing, coaching.
It's a big deal.
It makes you really happy inside. Like,
would you still be coaching? I know there's a push for it, and would y'all still be coaching if you take the pads away and they put flag on kids and turns into a flag football league and everything? Do you see y'all still coaching that?
I mean, I've coached flag before for I-9. It was fun, had a lot of fun doing it. But my son's involved in the program. He likes to hit. He's not a fan of flag, and I played football, so I love hitting and having fun and scoring touchdowns. So I couldn't say yes or no. Now, if I had somebody like Corbin or my son playing, I would coach. I want to coach, the kids.
No matter what's going on.
Yeah, because it's rewarding as a coach. It's rewarding to coach these kids. So I would say yes. Yeah.
How do your coaches balance competition with development? And have you ever had to sit there and sit down? Because I know back in the day, I've been involved with coaches that was all about winning. It was all about when I say these, it was all about creating pain. Doing that aspect of what it was back in the '80s when the coaches, when I coached and played with and everything, that's how it was. You got to be tough, you got to be this and that. Everything's changed, and you don't coach that way anymore. But how do you deal with coaches that, yes, you want to win, and you keep a starter in because you're wanting to do something with this or that, compared to, hey, we need to develop these kids. You all have said that all morning long. Is the biggest thing is to develop these kids, get them ready for the middle school or next level, whatever that is. How do you balance that? When do you sit there and go, hey, let's pull the reins back and let's get this other guy in, or this or that, or it's a close game and you still got to play this kid. That's the classic scenario. You're down by a touchdown, or down by 6, or down by 5, or whatever it may be, and you're driving everything, but little Johnny over here still has to get his 4 plays in. You don't have special teams to put him in or anything like that. How do you sit there? Do you sit there and I hate to say it, I've watched coaches sit there and go, I forgot about it. We lost track, and that's why little Johnny didn't get to play this time. You know, I've watched coaches back in the early 2000s take kids and not weigh them in on weigh-in day, and then come first game they weigh them in. And I've watched and heard stories about how what they did to these kids to get them, because and I'm sure I know at Gallatin and everything they weigh every week. PYFL you weigh once a year, and then you're either a striper or a non-striper. You know, you're overweight. You can't be a quarterback, running back, and everything. You have to play the line type of thing. And I've watched dads and coaches have kids do certain things to where they would make that weight limit. It just, you know, and you look back and you're going, what were you doing? You know, but anyway, how do you tell your coaches? You know, there's competition, but there's also development, you know, and how do you weigh that?
Well, time changes everything. And what I mean by that is, like, so for instance, when most of us were all playing at that level, yes, it was a lot different. Like we were talking earlier, you were hitting in the center of the chest. It was just bad tackling fundamentals. Over time, we've noticed as coaches for all of our league, it's not so much in how we were coached, drilling it into them, and that's how we were coached. We've noticed that a lot of this is lifting up. So even at this aspect, some of our, let's say, first string kids almost help coaching. Like they help coaching at this point because they see the kids falling behind, so they lift them up. They pick them up. So for instance, let's say we're running field to field. There's a kid that's not making it. Half of our team goes back and gets on the ground with them and come on, picks them up. It's a different era from where we were. We still deal with some of that. I think every league, every football team would deal with some of that, where you have the coaches come in and they want to run it old school way, and it's all about who's the toughest. And but for us, we've had pretty good luck with our coaches, and if we didn't, we would have a good coaches meeting and explain and show, because it explains itself now these days. Like if you go out there and you're running drills and you let the kids know how good they're doing, they always now turn out to do better and better. Yeah. If you're beating them down, they go to give up a lot of this.
Right.
So it's a whole different era in the way we were coached from today's time and kids.
Right. What advice would you give a kid or give to a young player hoping to advance to the next level? Whether it be playing at the middle school, starting at the middle school, from a middle school kid wanting to go and play at the high school, for a high school kid wanting to play at the college level. What advice do you give kids that are wanting to advance to that next level? It's never a guarantee that they will.
I tell them just, don't give up. Stay involved in the program and suck up all the information you can. Hang around those people that you want to be, those good high school players, middle school players. Stick to them like glue. Be their little buddy, be around, see how they do things, fall in love with the game. But don't get discouraged if your first year, you're not playing or, you got hurt. Don't get discouraged. Be around the people you want to be around and how you want to act. Be around those people and, don't give up. Be tough,
Remember the fundamentals of it, and when you get to that level, it's a lot of it changes up here in the head too. Like you've got a memory, so it's not all physical. Like so, out of season, yes, stay physical. Do your little drills at the house. Stay work at your own level on your own time to keep progressing. But when you go to that next level, everybody knows it becomes a little bit more play calling. It becomes a little bit more that you've got to learn and get knowledge about.
Right. And the summer drills, they do make a difference. I've got a kid, he's on my team, he played for me last year, and the difference between last year and this summer when I saw him, it's crazy because all he wants to do is throw football and run around. I mean, it's insane. The growth, you don't think it's much because it's not like they're out there tackling dummies and doing rip and swim and all that, but they're out there throwing the football and running around every least, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable, not being scared of the ball if the ball's thrown at you, like just little things like that.
What's your theory on having the same system through everything? So normally I've watched, and I know in years back when Trousdale was winning state championships at the high school level and their youth program was really big, they all ran the same system that the high school ran. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been that way in Portland. Like I said, I've been involved with everything. This year, it's been similar, but like the last 3 years, high school ran a 4-2-5. They're going to run another 4-2-5 this year. Coach Lane in the middle school now is running a 4-2-5. I would call it a 4-2-5 hybrid if you want to get technical about it. It's just he's trying to implement that system to where it helps the kids as they go, And I know in the youth, like I said, you've got certain coaches that will come through, and I've had 25 years experience, so I'm not saying it's y'all, but I've seen in the past where a coach will sit there and go, well, they're going to learn something by the time they get up there. I'm going to run what I'm going to run. I know it's successful. It's going to give us wins. But if Coach Dupree came to y'all and go, hey guys, is there any way this is a system we're going to run? Can you run it and maybe try to use the same terminology if you can? If not, that's no big deal. That's what Coach Lane does. Coach Lane will try to use the terminology that the high school uses if he can, but he does have his terminology that he uses and everything. And then, I know many times when we got kids from the middle school, I could sit there and call Coach Lane and go, hey, this is what we're doing and everything. And he goes, oh, we used to call this that. We used to call that. This is what we called it. So then I could sit there and tell the kids, hey guys, you called it this, but this is what we're calling it. Now you just have to kind of learn that. But would y'all be willing to sit there and change a system that y'all have ran for 3-4? If you've been in it for 8 years, would you be willing to change the system to get it to where that's what the high school runs? And we're trying to, do you see that being something that would work, or do you sit there? And I don't think it's a right or wrong answer. It's just I've watched people go, well, I'm going to run my system. We're going to do what we're going to do here, and it's going to be changed once they get to middle school, and it's going to change once they get to high school. And if something happens and Coach Dupree's gone in 2 years or whatever, and they got another coach coming in, got another whole system that you have to change and everything. So everybody, and I'm going to stay down here in the youth for the next 6 years per se. I'm just going to stay with what I know works for me down here and everything. So you can kind of see both sides of the spectrum. But if Coach Dupree came to y'all and said, hey, would you be willing to kind of do this? What would your thought process be?
I mean, I ran an I formation when I was growing up. The high school ran a wing T. So I ran I formation. We always had a 4-3 defense, but the difference changed in middle school. We had a jammer that would go to strong side or weak side, and jammer tight end. But yeah, learning the wing T after middle school was tough because I was always used to I formation.
Yeah.
So I want to run whatever the high school's running. That way these boys are set up for success already. They already know they don't have to start over from scratch. So I'm going to run whatever Coach Dupree is, and we've talked about it, and that's our plan to run.
I mean, so the way I see that, practice makes perfect, because we've all been in the football games where we knew exactly what that team was running, and we just couldn't stop it. And the reason we couldn't stop it was because they repped it so much, and practice makes perfect. They repped it and repped it and repped it, and they become excellent at running what they run. Yeah. And that's what I do believe makes that so successful when you're doing that, because they've run this so much that it's second nature. If they get in this problem, they've seen it before. They know what to do to get out of it. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. I actually see it helping out too. I could see that better.
And we won't have his whole playbook, obviously. I mean, all we really need at this age is 5 plays that Brian said. Like, we know how to run it over and over and over again. All it takes is 5 plays at this age, really. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of, motion and passing and stuff like that. We're going to keep it simple and stick to what we're really good at and run off that. Obviously some of his plays, but in his formations, but just simple.
Well, that goes back to, I can relate to that. When I coach kids and we go through drills and we're like, Coach, we do this every day. Yep, we do. And the kids that I coach during private lessons and everything, we're going to do this every day, because what I'm trying to get, and I try to explain it to the kid is and I call a high school kid a kid. When I try to explain it to them is, you have to be able to do this so much that it becomes second nature that you don't think about it. And I said, that's why I said, NFL still, the guys in the NFL still do these drills because it's just natural. I said, so let me ask you this. I said, y'all walked up and down steps before? And they all said, yeah. I said, do you ever think about what foot you step with first? And they go, no. I said, you don't. You've done it so many times, it's just second nature that you, but I said, I guarantee you start watching what you're doing. I said, you step with the same foot every time when you go up a step. I said, that's what we're trying to get at. You punch in this bag, when that ball moves, it becomes second nature for you to where that's what you're going to do. You see this movement, it automatically, you do this. And I said, that's where you're trying to get at. So then we can go on to something else. I said, but that's second nature stuff. So, y'all talking about repping something over and over and over to where it becomes just, I know I'm taking this step and I know I'm doing this, and if this happens, then this is what, and you know what happens. How has player safety involved over the years that y'all have been involved and you've seen? I know we've talked about the helmets have changed a lot, and some of the I know the tackling techniques have now changed, even going up through high school and college.
I mean, player safety has always been a problem. We're just addressing it a lot stronger now. They got guardian caps. We keep wet stations, like in case we have to cool down. There's so many precautions now with player safety. I would say more or less one of the biggest things that we see is heat exhaustion. Like kids today, it feels hot every time you get out there, and these kids come out there. Some of them have been eating sweets or drinking Kool-Aid all day, and that's one of the biggest things. Every coaches, after every practice, every coach talks about that. In every age group we got, it happens every practice because that is one of the biggest problems. They don't take it in that water is really important. The most important thing you can do is drink water all around the clock. It ain't right before you come to practice. Right. And that's one of the biggest things that we deal with. They think, I'll just take water to practice. I've drank Kool-Aid all day, but we'll take water to practice. And really that needs to be happening at home too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're cramping up in practice, it's because of what you did 24 hours before that practice. And that's another thing. I'll agree with you there. The equipment safety it's all going to change. It's going to change as things go. But it's, back in my day, because I know I'm older than y'all, back in my day it was solid tablet, and if you got lucky, if the coach got mad at you, you didn't get a water break. He just dealt with it, you got a salt tablet, and then you ran until he was happy, or until he got tired, type of thing. Or you got water from a hose, and tell someone to drink from a hose, they can freak out now. But it's we got a trainer. It's not even the heat. It used to be, well, the heat index is up. We can't practice. It's not even the heat index no more. It's the I can't.
Wet bulb too.
Yeah, So there, and we have Miss Olivia, the trainer at the high school. She's checking daily. Every hour, every 30 minutes. Hey, y'all go on the field. Hey, y'all can't. Hey, the helmets and shoulder pads have to come off. Can you do a drill? And so you have to adapt on the fly and everything. Talking about the heat and everything, what are some of y'all precautions? What do y'all do to sit there during practice, go, man, it's getting pretty hot? What determines if you take the helmets off, or you get the helmets and shoulder pads, get to take off? Or even at the high school level, we have to have so many minutes of a break time for them to sit there and get water or to get up and everything like that. What do y'all got at the youth level?
So every 15 minutes, we pretty much bring the kids together in between every drills. Every 15 minutes, which they can get water anytime. But every 15 minutes, we'll bring them together for at least 5 minutes or so and just kind of address them, make sure we get a good look at every kid. We also keep wet stations, cool down rags. That's one of our biggest concerns. That's one of our biggest concerns because we do realize how crucial that is.
Right.
So we take that really serious, and it's more or less just that gets back into coaches and interacting with the kids. You can tell when a kid's off. You can, hey,
Yeah.
hey Johnny, and he doesn't respond like he normally would. You automatically know, come over here and stand with me. Let's cool down a minute, and we'll pull his helmet off.
Gotcha.
So it isn't a thing where we'll just pull all the kids' helmets off at once. We like to keep interactions with individual kids so that we can tell how they respond in the heat. So, but we do stop at least every 15 minutes to take a look at the kids, make sure that they're doing good and not overheated. The biggest thing is though, every time the kid that is overheated or we have to give a break to, yeah, I just drank a bunch of Kool-Aid before I came, and that's always the case. My stomach's rolling because I feel the Gatorade coming up.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the majority of it. More times it's easier to keep a watch on them when they're individually. Whenever you just break them down and you actually get to talk to them one at a time individually, you can tell right off the rip that there's something wrong.
I mean, we can preach, water, but at the end of the day, we can't go home with them and
make them do it.
drink.
Yeah.
That's up to the parents to keep them hydrated, and we can't control that. But we encourage it, and we look out for it.
So all that is available every practice, no matter what the heat is, or if it's cloudy and we don't need the wet station or anything, but it's going to be there for y'all out there all the time. I like that. What role does parents play in a successful youth program?
Being involved, going to the games, cheering, being excited, and making your kids excited about it still, because they'll go home and play Fortnite or whatever, and forget about football until the next practice. But keep bringing it up. You ready for practice today? Get them fired up about it. Be involved. Get to know your coach, whoever's coaching your kid, and get to know the program, who's all involved, and be supportive, I guess. There's a lot out there that support this youth program, and we're grateful for all of them.
The way I look at that, parents coach their kids 24/7. We only get to coach them for that 2 hours, 2 days a week, and they coach them all throughout their life. So, I mean, it's,
Well, let me tell you, it happens at the high school level too.
yeah, coaching is a big role model job. Like it's a role model, and that's how coaches look at it, and kids look at it too as well.
What would you say is a misconception parents have about youth football? Or even, we talked about football, but even youth cheer. The cheerleaders get out there and they practice, at the same time y'all do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and they've been successful with competitions, with going to places and going and winning competitions and everything. Just in general, PYFL in general, what's a misconception you think parents might have about youth sports?
Well, what I get a lot of is like the time management. I don't have time to bring my kid there, and I told everybody, I'll come pick him up, I'll get a carpool, we have a tight group knit of parents that, I could ask somebody, hey, you live right over there, can you grab him? They would grab him. The time management and probably just the injury risk is what they're most concerned about. Those two things, but I think all kids should be involved in any kind of sport, and because at the end of the day, it's just going to help your kid grow and be a better person.
Yeah, I feel like a bunch of the parents are like, oh, well, they'll be fine, just start them in sports at middle school level. And I would say even the middle school coaches and all the coaches for every sport would be like, no, they need to learn fundamentals at a young age and how to communicate with other kids. Like there's a lot of advantages that they get from the youth level when they go up to a middle school level.
I know we talked about, how y'all deal with conflicts during the season. Y'all have a board meeting, soon after if you've got to deal with that. What makes, in your opinion, a great youth coach?
What makes a great youth coach is the communication, like still, it goes back to that I mean, me as a commissioner, I go up and I have a coaches meeting with all the coaches, every team individually, also a parents meeting, and some of the things that we'll address is so the way we represent ourselves on other people's fields and the way we represent ourselves on our fields. And so, for instance, in our coaches meeting, hey, we're going to go over some of the things we went over today with the water breaks, and we'll go over a bunch of ways to coach and help the kids that are falling a little behind so that they can get more fundamentally sound. And then with the parents, we'll go over some of the biggest cons that we have is hollering at the refs. Well, me as a commissioner, it's going to be hard for me to do my job whenever the refs are the first ones to tell that league up there, they hollering, they was loud and they was shouting. If we can keep that down, it's a lot easier for me if the refs didn't complain about us, we complained about them first. You know what I mean? And nobody ever knew there was a problem.
Yeah.
But the commissioner addressed it very professionally, and we kept our community controlled in a good environment for the kids. Because at the end of the day, football only exists because of the kids. We're all there for the kids. That's what we're there for. There's no sense in being bad role models. And I understand that some people, it's the love and they have and the passion for the game. It's hard. It's hard not to get riled up whenever you know that something's wrong, but that's something that we've got to work on to be a better role model for our kids.
What kind of training do the coaches get that when y'all decide that you're going to let someone coach? Is there any training that they go through, or is it just kind of knowledge of them? And how do you kind of select coaches and everything? Is there a process that you have?
Yeah, I've played, I've coached before. I'm certified I-9. I mean, that was the training that I had. But it's like assistant wise, you get to know the parents over the season, so you can tell kind of who would be a good fit, who's really involved, who's there every single day watching their kid play football, who's there every single game, who's cheering, who's asking questions, And that's how I found some of my assistants, is just because they're involved. They want to know, hey, how do we do the practice? What can we work on at home to make him better? And involved, they know all the kids' names. So, and you don't necessarily, at this age group, it's not really about football, it's about leadership, and being a good role model. Obviously, football knowledge is key, but
They coach a certificate too. They've got to get certified, and we get background checks as well.
I know at one time, right before I left to go to the middle school, Football USA had a program. We actually went down to Titan's facility, and they had a clinic down there that they put on. And once you got through that, you got a certificate and everything like that type of thing. So I really do think the Glazier would really benefit y'all, everything. And I'll talk to Coach Dupree about that maybe this week or next weekend or whatever, just to see if we can go ahead and get signed up for it. Because like I said, it's your choice. It doesn't cost no money. It's one big lump sum. So maybe everybody can get together and add a little bit to it per se. But it's just something I think, and when you got 5,000-6,000 videos you can watch online and learn techniques that is nowadays. It's not a video from 1972. It's now what everybody's doing and everything, and it's coming from every level and every aspect of it. I think that would be a good thing there. Tell the people who's listening or who's going to listen later or who's going to watch video, if they're a part of the community, they want to get involved. How do they get involved to volunteer to help y'all? Y'all got a website, y'all got a Facebook page, who do they need to contact, and stuff like that?
See, we've got big things going on too. We do have a Facebook page, and they're making it easier on the city's website as well to get to the page. They made it a lot easier with a website on there too. Overall, that is the biggest step is to just come up and let us know. I think that there's a lot of shyness, or some people move, because people are moving here all the time from all over the place, and they We just, we really want the help, and we could use the help. But I think that a lot of people are just shy to come off and, hey, who do I talk to? Anyone out there will point you on that field in my direction if you come out there, or get on the Facebook page or the city's website, and there's direct links to all of us. So
You can message on Facebook, you can DM, Facebook page and say, hey, how can I help? And someone will get to you.
I think that's where we were getting a lot of the information on the new press box and the concession stand.
Yeah.
It was coming off Facebook, the feeds that were getting sent to us. So that was good communication too.
What goals do you have for the league for the next 3 to 5 years?
the biggest goals is to just bring Portland football to Portland football. Have these kids ready for middle school. Start seeing middle school championships. Start seeing high school championships. And the parks over there. I mean, it's growing every day. It's getting big. It looks nice. Like I said earlier, I think that we will be able to expand in the next few years. I think that we'll be multiple teams for each age group. We're making big moves every year. This year we've made some drastic moves. We're doing a lot out there, and we hope to have a really good season this year. But either way, with the coaching that's in place and stuff, we know that the kids will have a blast, and they bring more and more kids every year.
Right.
As a community, we want to grow as part of Portland. That's the biggest thing.
Wow.
Do y'all have a memory or a moment that kind of you look back and you go, "This is why I do this"?
I have a lot. There's a lot of them. It happens every year, frequently throughout the year. And most of the time, it's just being able to communicate with the kids and get their spirits up and be like, yeah, I can do this. And then they go out there and do what you said. And next thing you know, they're like, oh, this works. So then you watch them grow through every game. And the growth.
It opens up.
Yeah.
You see that light bulb pop on for
Yeah.
the first time in these kids, and you're like, it's fulfilling. You're like, I'm doing my job. This kid is excited now. Like, we talked about one play can make a difference, and one practice, one drill. Seeing that kid light up, getting excited.
Yeah.
What message would you like to share with current and future families about the league or about playing youth sports?
Future message. I would say get involved, get your kids involved early, because it's not just about football. It's about building a community, friendship for your kids. Getting the discipline, getting the teammates, the buddies. It's hanging out outside of football, pool parties, birthdays. It's not just about football. It's about getting these kids around other kids and learning how to act and communicate and have fun together. That's what I would say. And that's the most important part of this piece. It's not just about football. It's about them making friends and growing.
Makes sense.
I'm looking through questions. I'm sorry. We've
Well,
kind of touched.
no,
you
I'm
go
gonna-
ahead. You go ahead and ask yours.
Yeah, I
'cause-
wanted to ask something, because Miguel kind of touched on it early on, but just kind of pass out the flowers for board members. The behind the scenes stuff that you guys have to take care of, and I think people don't really think about that. I'm assuming you guys, if you guys don't take care of the referees, there's not going to be a referee there, or how many referees you have. Is that your guys' responsibility, or is that TriStars to get the refs in there? And PYFL has to pay for the refs, right? From their own budget.
Yeah, we have to pay for the refs. We have to make sure the refs, we're in communication with the refs and the league as well. We also have a cop at every game. That's just protocol with the league we're in. They take safety as a really big thing.
So how do you do that? Do you communicate with the county or with the city? Or is there a certain, to get a security officer there?
We communicate with the city and the league and the rest. So
Okay.
we're like the middleman that communicates with everybody
Mhm.
to make sure that everything's going on right and properly. At the end of the day, it all falls back on us if something goes wrong. So we're
You're the hub of the wheel.
yeah.
All spokes lead to you, huh?
Yeah.
Concession stands. I mean, I'm sure your guys are kind of responsible for who's going to man concession stands and how that's going to be done every game. I mean, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, we put it together every game. We've got a list of gate, who's going to run the gate.
There you go. Yeah.
Who's going to be in the concession stands? Who's in the press box? What the game's going to be like? Like as far as sometimes we'll have running clocks and I mean there's so much stuff to put into it.
Yep.
In that perspective. We back to plans for this year. Like this year we have the preseason Panther Bowl. We always have going on every year, but we also have plans for a post bowl game this year. It's something new. We're going to bring in a game at the end of the season after our Super Bowl. We're going to have one last game, kind of like a Portland post bowl game,
Okay.
and to bring in all the kids, even let's say we get up to the championship, the Super Bowl, and we don't win.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be or we get in the playoffs and we don't win, we don't go to the championship.
Yeah.
Doesn't
you got that one more.
that doesn't have to be our last time together on a loss. We get to know when our last game is to compete together as a team, as a family. That
That's a
way
good point, yeah.
we know where
Yeah.
we're at.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things we've added this year as well. Next year we've already had talks about things we might add. It's going to be a growing process every year. We're trying to add so much stuff to where we can keep these kids familiar with each other, keep them athletic, keep them
Right.
in good shape, and be good mentors, really.
Mhm.
Just be really good mentors for the kids.
That's exciting.
Have you talked to the kids about the high school camp next week? Are they excited about that?
Yes.
What are they looking to get? What have they said about the camp and everything? Are they really talked about it and everything, or are they just excited to be?
Yeah, they're excited to get back around their buddies and friends and learn some football. Really, I'm excited to get back around the kids too and kind of start our process. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, you can still sign up the day of if you guys still want to go. Anybody that needs to go, it'll be a lot of fun.
How much is the camp? Do we know?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'll have to look that up. The biggest thing for the kids, I think, they're realizing that, hey, look, football doesn't end here. Football goes on to the middle school. It goes on to, because some of the kids at our age group, you got to think we got 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and they're like, man, football's got a big community. So it's, and then they get to learn from and see the high school players come out.
40 free. Free? Okay.
And see them high school players come out, and it really puts off good role models for them.
Yeah.
So the camp is free, and that's great right there. So if you got last second and want to go, you can come, bring them and everything. It's going to be at the high school at the practice field. You'll see it out there by the indoor. You won't miss it. I know there will be a table set up there to register and get your shirt and everything, and just wear shorts and bring you some water and stuff like that. The last 20 minutes you want to talk X's and O's? What do y'all run? What's y'all system?
Good wing T.
Wing T?
Dupree's running, yeah. And then defense, it's a 5-2 probably.
Okay. Do you, what's the other coaches running in the other age groups? Do you know?
We're not 100% on that.
We were talking about 5. I know Eric was talking about.
We're all been talking a little bit with Coach Dupree. That's one good thing. We've had a coaches clinic. We've all been talking a little bit with them. We're able to communicate with the high school coach, the middle school coach. They're open for communication if any of us want to. That being said, I think that most all of them are going to be running around about the same thing. They'll all put their own little terminology to it and mix up a few little things here and there, but overall, all of us have been kind of communicating with the.
What do y'all see now at the youth? What does everybody run offensively nowadays?
Wing T.
Is it wing T still?
And it's just that's why we're running a 5-2 because speed kills at the age group that I coach.
Everybody's still trying to get to the outside with the jet.
That's it. You could run a dive, you know, and then they're still bouncing outside. And if we can contain, containment's the biggest thing here. All it takes is it's one play, you know, one play touchdown. It's never like 4 yards at a time. It's that breakaway.
Yeah.
So just trying to contain is the biggest part.
And defensively, everybody's kind of running the same thing.
Eric was talking about running a 5-2, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's all ironed in yet.
It mixes up. There's a lot of 4-4s out there too. A lot of people run the 4-4. You know, that's very common. You see that all over football. 4-4 is one of the most common defenses there are. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit of that as a backup plan if they're running something different. But
yeah, it's all gonna mix up a little bit. Strong side and weak side.
So defensively, do y'all have packages, or do y'all just kind of go in and this is my base defense, and I'll have some calls, kind of like offensively? Hey, you know, I have my package, and this is where these are our plays. You know, you're going to run the jet, left and right. You're going to run power left and right. You're going to run a trap. You're going to probably run a dive, and then you got a couple pass plays type of thing.
We'll have like holes in numbers. You know, a 34. You know, or something like that. 23. But defense, it's more so like strong side, weak side. You know, if I've got a good linebacker that's a ball hawk, you know, put him strong side. If Ripper Liz, I'll have to get with Dupree about the terminology on how he uses right and left, but something like that. Because in defense, I might bounce them out a little bit further. If we're getting killed on the outside, I might stack. So the good thing about it is at this league, you can be on the field with them.
Yeah.
So you can kind of be like, where are we getting beat up at, and kind of adjust to that.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to ask you questions that we normally ask our athletes when they come and come on to the show and everything, and at the end we ask them. I will ask you that one question, but so this is just kind of a rapid question type of thing. Favorite NFL team?
I'm just gonna say the Titans because I'm from here in Tennessee, even though it's a bad one. It's a bad one.
Chicago Bears.
So why Chicago?
I grew up in Indiana, so they're one of the closer teams to us. They're about to be.
Which
I was
may
are
be
you
both.
excited?
Yeah, Heyman Bears.
Favorite college team?
Tennessee.
Notre Dame.
Oh wow, Indiana.
I was like, you're now over here, so you gotta understand where he's at. And the one I was talking about, this question is, what was your favorite subject in school?
Probably math.
Tell the truth.
No, like numbers.
Social studies.
So, well, that's two common ones with the kids too.
Yeah, no one ever says English
No.
or anything like that.
Not at all. Offense or defense?
Defense.
Why?
I like hit. I don't know.
I like to get them kids out there and wake them up and realize that they can do it. I don't know. There's something about defense. It kind of, the whole team works hard every play. And especially when you're 4th and 1, that's something about that little adrenaline rush. That little adrenaline rush you get, and they stop it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about it.
To me, I'd be defense. To me, I think it's defense is you're more. It's a more free for all. You can be more. It's not so schematic like offense has to be. And then for me, schematically, I'd like to sit there and have that mental game going. Okay, you've done this. So if I can sit there and run it, and you can do it with offense too. But I'm like, okay, this is a down distance. I know you're going to run this or run this. So if I can do this, it's going to stop everything. And then when it happens, you know, I'm defense too. Favorite food?
Meatloaf.
There is a first. Maybe. I'm trying to think. We might have had a meatloaf before, have we not? I think
I don't recall. But
wife's meatloaf, mom's meatloaf.
Wife.
Okay. Do you go to somewhere that has a meatloaf? Do you get meatloaf?
No, it don't even taste right.
Okay. So what's in the meatloaf that your wife makes?
No, it's
He don't-
stuffed.
he
It's
don't ask.
onions, peppers, cheese, everything.
I couldn't do that.
Everything.
Favorite food?
I've been on a Skyline chili kick lately.
Oh.
It's a Cincinnati
Yeah.
thing, but you can buy it at Kroger. This isn't an ad, by the way. You can buy the cans at Kroger down here, so I'll make it at the house for me and my son. Yeah, we're eating it up.
You gonna try my wife's meatloaf? It's smoked. Boy, it's good.
I'll have to.
So y'all trade Skyline chili from Kroger's to meatloaf.
Unless we're talking out to eat, then I'm Chipotle.
Well, here we go. Favorite restaurant.
Texas Roadhouse.
What's your go-to meal?
New York Strip.
Wow.
How big?
Big as
Big as they get. What's your sides?
Baked potato and salad. That's it.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
I think a restaurant. I don't have I mean, Subway right now. That's about the only restaurant I've been going to. But if I had to like ball out or whatever,
Come on now, them Texas Roadhouse rolls are
They're
good.
good. They're good.
You know,
I was
them rolls
gonna-
are good.
I was gonna say Texas Roadhouse, but he took it from me. Melting pot. You guys ever been to the melting pot?
I've heard
You
of
cook
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Favorite fast food?
It's Chipotle's kind of fast food.
Yeah.
Chipotle.
If you eat fast enough, yes.
What's your go-to order at Chipotle?
One of them bowls of the burritos.
I'd be.
What's your protein?
Hey,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is it chicken or is it steak or
Just both. I mean,
both? Everything you get?
Yeah.
Fast food? Subway?
Subway, yeah.
And what's your go-to sandwich?
I get a BMT with turkey, lettuce, honey mustard, and mayo.
I've kind of got hooked on those protein wraps. Or
Yeah, they're not
those
bad.
there. Yeah.
I tried one and everything. It's the Italian. I think it's the Italian.
Is the one that
It's good.
says Baja or something?
No, it's the Italian one. It's just like a
I've seen
mini
that.
BMT.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to
So,
try it.
let's see here. Man, that's it. You got any questions?
No, I don't. It's been fun though.
But yeah, definitely we'll be we're gonna be out there Saturday. Like I said, Kyle and Coach Thayer will be there broadcasting. We'll have people. Y'all want to stop by the table and then talk when you get a minute. Talk for a couple minutes, and we can do that and try to grab some players and everything. Definitely, we'll make some trips out there on Saturdays once the season starts to broadcast. I would like to sit there and maybe we can even do an early game. You know what? The little start at 11 o'clock?
9.
At 9? Okay.
Mhm.
So see, back in my days, it was like they started at 11 and then the next one started at 2 o'clock, 2:30. The next one started like 4 or something like that. And so, but how hard is it to get the little kids out there at 8 o'clock in the morning
It's
to
not
get warmed
easy.
up and get going? and
Yeah, I mean
everything?
they're tired. You can tell who just woke up and who didn't. It's tough. 9 o'clock games are tough, and for coaches because you gotta get the ice, the water, go there
Yeah.
early, talk to the refs and other coaches. And,
Yeah.
But it's all worth it.
But we definitely want to get out there and broadcast some games and stuff. And then, like I said, if y'all need anything, any help or anything like that, anything promoted, just let us know, and we'll put it on our Facebook page, and we'll get it out there. But we do appreciate y'all coming today. And like I said, we stay in contact and everything. But again, it's just it's been fun. I can talk football and whether it's youth, middle school, high school, college, whatever it may be. I can talk X's and O's all day long. I enjoy it so much. And like I said, it's been 5 or 6 years probably since I was out there, watched a youth game and everything. So I'm definitely excited about getting out there this fall. Y'all start when? When y'all season starts?
We're waiting on our schedule right now to where we play and like the schedule, but Warrior Bowl is August 8th.
I just put camp night.
So the camp starts 29th, 30th, and to July 2nd and 3rd, but the high school camp is June 13th.
Right.
So yeah, we'll have that scheduled soon. But August 8th is our Warrior Bowl.
Okay. And then the game times are 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Y'all go every 2 hours, or
Uh,
9, 11.
yeah.
Yeah, 9, 11.
It'll be
something like that.
Yeah.
So, but again, we want to sit there and thank the PYFL youth coaches and board members, or board member and coaches, for coming out. Brian Henson and Josh Clan. Appreciate y'all today, and definitely we'll see you next week at the camp there. And then definitely think we'll be asking y'all to come. Well, we have to wait till after the season because y'all can't do it on Saturdays because y'all play. But actually bringing players back, let them come on here and talk, and let them tell us about their experience with everything. And because that's what this was about. It's about letting people know about what's going on with Portland in sports, and letting the kids and the athletes from the youth to the high school, let them be the stars and everything. It's not so much about not that y'all wasn't important today. That's what this is geared toward, is letting them guys get up here and talk. And it's fun when they get up here and they're nervous at first, and within the first 20-30 minutes, man, they're off and running.
Let loose.
So it's fun. So, but I appreciate y'all coming today. Next week, the show will be at the high school. Like I said, it'll be the high school camp. On the 20th, we'll have PHS band members here, talk about what they're doing over the summer and what's coming up for them. And then on the 27th, we'll have Emily Hester with 4-H. She's the chairperson for the dairy, and I think June is Dairy Month. So she'll be here to talk about that. July is open. We haven't had no guests so far for July, but we'll start booking guests. We'd like to try to get Jamie White. We talked about him. Maybe talk about the splash pad and everything that just opened up. And like I said, if you know anybody that might want to get on the show and talk about youth sports, about what's going on, or we have an individual that does something on their own. I think we had who was it that we had played hockey down in Nashville and everything. We had him on. Fishing team. We had the fishing team on for the once every year with Teddy Baird and Eli and them. We got the wrestling team going on. They got camps going on. Wrestling's now out there. We got girls flag football is starting to really grow and stuff like that. So all kinds of sports going on. I know we kind of took a lull the last 2-3 weeks with graduation, strawberries tried, and stuff like that. But hopefully we'll get things booked, and next thing you know, it's going to be in August. We'll have Tuesday night middle school games, Friday night football games, volleyball games going on, and come November, Kyle will be jumping into basketball, and we'll go through the winter sports with Kyle and basketball, and then spring sports come along, and we'll have softball and baseball, and we even did track this year. We'll do another track meet. Soccer, we got to get soccer involved. So, like I said, in any type of youth, I think here in the next week or two, me and John's supposed to be doing some of the all-star games for the youth baseball. Do a game out there. So, a lot of stuff going on. Just keep a watch on Facebook. We'll put stuff out there. We'll post some stuff what's going on. Give everybody a heads up and everything. But again, we want to thank Brian and Josh for coming. I want to thank Kyle for joining me today. I'm Coach Almendarez. You're listening to Sports Saturday Off the Rails on the Portland Sports Network.